Hello people, it's Josh and today I'm bringing you the start of what hopefully is something a little different for me. It's going to be a weekly blog where, because I'm a tech nerd, I'm always on the lookout for, new pieces of software or kit or generally free stuff that can help me. And so I've decided to start this where I can share some of that with you. So today, first thing I'm going to go over is something called HJSplit. Now this is a nice little program found on the internet. The link will be in the description somewhere. First of all, I have no idea what HJ stands for. I mean, it could stand for Hi Juice, it could stand for Help Josh. There are a couple of people I can imagine out there going, nope, not going to stand for Help Josh, no one needs to help Josh. Or it could stand for Hallelujah Jesus. Oh, no, wow. Ooh, maybe not like that. Anyway, what does it do? It splits things up. No, it splits things up. So, how did I find it? So, I was looking, I was trying to move a 6GB gameplay onto a hard disk drive, external hard disk, and it kept telling me I couldn't do it. I looked it up on the internet. It turns out if it's FAT32 formatted, to most people that's just going to be a whoosh over your head. For me, it's mostly a whoosh over my head too, except that it kind of like hits my head and then goes over. Where did that come from? Yeah, so I found this, and what it does is you just tell it how big the pieces are, and it will split it up into X number of different files, all of that size. Well, maybe not that exact size, a bit smaller, but definitely not bigger. And it's incredible. It works very good. So, what can it be used for? Well, first of all, if you have Hotmail, you have access to a SkyDrive, and that's 25GB of online storage. That's insane. The downside of that is you can only upload up to 50MB at a time or something. Maybe it's 90, I can't remember. Well, this is the way around it. So you can take a 3GB file, split it down into 50MB chunks, and upload all of them. So you have all the things up there that you can pull down at any time. And yes, it does come with a restore function, split and join, where it will very nicely split it up for you, and it will very nicely bring it back together for you. Nice little video or whatever else you're splitting up or joining together. What was I going to say? Yeah, so it could be SkyDrive, it could be, as I said, external hard drives that only allow certain size files. It could be for emails if you've got a 15MB limit, or USBs where you have lots of USB in a big file. Stick them all on it and bring them back together. Or maybe you could use for all of them at the same time. One bit up here, one bit up there. So pros. It is simple to split and join. I tested it out. You click a button, it works through it, and it works great. It does what it says on the tin. The cons now. It is going to be the longest 100% progress bar you'll ever see in your life. It's like, the progress bar goes from there. Is that the right way on the progress bar that you're watching it? It should be, or maybe it's that way. I can't remember. Anyway, if the progress bar goes up to 100%, and usually there's a break at 100%, and it stays there for like 20 seconds, and then it goes on. Well, this is the longest 100% you'll ever see, because up to 199%, it is working out how it's going to break up the files, and at 100%, it will start writing them to the disk. So there will be a 100% thing there for like 20 minutes while it writes it to the disk. Well, 20 minutes, whatever, it depends on the file size. And that brings me on to the second con, that it's not the fastest thing in the world. I mean, sure, it does what it's meant to do, it does it great, but it's not particularly speedy. So, pros, cons, weigh it up, you decide. Next thing is, yes, Gamefire. Hello people, I'm back again, just went to have lunch, it was all good fun. And so where was I? Yes, Gamefire. I reviewed this on my DA journal a while ago, but I thought I'd bring it up now because it's still very, very funky. Funky! Yes, Gamefire. Another free program you download on the internet, and no, you don't use it to set your games on fire. I don't know how many of you really would want to do that, but setting this on fire is not going to make it run any faster. On the other hand, starting Gamefire on your computer, you'd get to choose a whole bunch of options. You can tick all of them, and when you click gaming mode, which is all very cool if you have the word gaming mode there, yeah, you click gaming mode, it shuts down a whole load of processes, frees up memory, and it means your computer can run better, play games smoother. And yeah, I have noticed a difference when playing with Gamefire on. It's like games that normally run okay, maybe with a bit of stuttering, run perfectly. Well, if not perfectly, with a much better performance. So, what can it be used for? Well, primarily games, or any intensive program that needs a lot of memory, so sometimes I stick it on when I'm rendering videos. Pros, it's simple to use, simple to set up, and it works. Pretty much that. Cons, one of the things that you have the option to change when you start Gamefire, when you turn on gaming mode, is the power setting. So when I start gaming mode, I put my power setting on high performance because, you know, it makes sense. But when you turn off Gamefire mode, it won't actually switch it back to your normal recommended setting. So I guess that's a con. You have to go and manually switch it back. And yeah, don't expect to multitask with it. And if you set Gamefire, so there's the pros, cons, goods, bad, and all else that comes out of my mouth. Don't take that the wrong way. Okay, so the big one this week, OnLive. It's been out in America for a while. It's only just come to England, and as a tech nerd, when I saw this, I went insane. I mean, I still am going a tiny bit insane. Teeny bit. This much. So, what is it? OnLive is it's a gaming station done completely over the internet. So, whereas in the past, gaming, you buy a CD, you put it in, it installs the game to your computer, and your computer plays. Then depending on your computer specs, you can play at high, medium, low graphics, and sometimes it'll crash, sometimes it won't, you need to download patches. Or maybe it's like, if it's through Steam, Steam has to download it all. OnLive takes care of all of that by doing it over the web. What you do is you sign up, you log on, click a game to play, and you're playing it. Your computer does not use any memory playing it. It is all streamed to you directly from the web, and it is fantastic. So they have free trials of games, but one of the reasons that I'd really advise people to go get it, especially if you're British, because until the 9th of October, the first game you get is only £1. So for £1, you can get a load of modern games that they have there. I myself bought Deus Ex, the Augmented Edition, Deus Ex Human Revolution, that's the one. And it's a fantastic game, I love playing it. I'm not going to be able to play it too much at uni because the internet speed is regulated, but while I'm at home I've been playing it, it's fantastic. And you know what? I forget that I'm playing it over the internet, because there is genuinely almost no lag. I can't tell any lag. And sure, I've got a very fast internet connection at home, and you'll see that comes up as part of the cons, but you know, during the fight scenes, during the cutscenes, it looks like I'm playing it on my computer, except that Caboose here, yep, Caboose is my computer, it doesn't go lag or crash. So, why else am I excited about this? Well, this could be the future of gaming. So imagine this, OnLive is currently on Windows, Mac, iPad, Android tablet, and TV. You can buy yourself a TV box, it links up to your TV, links to the internet, they give you a gaming console, and you can play through that. So, this means you can start your day, and you open up your TV, you start playing on Deus Ex a little bit, do whatever you do on Deus Ex, stop, eat your breakfast. As you're going to work on the train, get out your iPad, continue playing Deus Ex. I don't actually know how the iPad and Android tablet games work, but I know Android tablet has the capability you can plug in like USB controllers and play with that, so that's maybe where the direction they're heading. So you can continue on your iPad, and this assuming you have an internet connection. At work, at lunchtime, you can get your your terrible old netbook that you use for whatever and continue playing, because remember, it uses no RAM on your computer other than to stream it to you. And then when you go to a friend's house, your friend on his Mac wants to see how far you got, you can play it on his Mac. It's completely compatible, and this could genuinely mean the end of consoles. Because no longer do you have Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, or no longer do you have Windows PC, and games for Windows PC, or games only for Mac. Are there any games only for Mac? I don't know. I'm not a Mac user. Suddenly, what you have is a platform where any game can be played multiplayer with any other friends, anytime, anywhere, on any device. And I think that's phenomenal. But of course, there are plenty of downsides, and we'll get into this. So, pros. So, this could be the future of gaming, put simply. It works incredibly well. It has a bit to develop, but the fact that the technology is here and it works and is popular is something indeed. It works great. As I said, I trialed Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I've been playing Deus Ex. Works a charm, and the first game is £1. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes here. As you can see, I've got a whole ton of notes. The first game's only £1. I mean, that is reason enough to go out, download the free launcher and buy yourself a game, because you can get a modding game for £1. Oh, and after the £1, you can buy. They have like play passes, so you can buy a game for 3 days, 5 days, or you can buy the full game. That's like the full price for like £30. Or you can get a subscription for £7 a month. You get access to unlimited access to over 100 games, which, you know, is a pretty good deal. If someone like said to you, here, £7 a month, I'll give you 100 games, play as many of them as you would like. Oh, and it's also social, so you can have friends. You can also have, which is quite interesting, you can broadcast to people. So if you click on the arena, when in the arena thing, you can see people playing games in live, and you can literally drop in, watch them play. You can talk. You might not be able to talk to them depending on the settings that they have, but you can talk to other people watching. And so, you know, that could be the future of broadcast, the future of game streaming. People tell you, hey, look, I'm game streaming, add me as a friend and go on here, and you can watch them play in real time in, you know, the full screen. But what about the cons? Because this is new and it does have some way to develop. So the cons. First of all, you do need a good internet connection. They say 3 megabits per second is the minimum, but 5 megabits per second is necessary for 720 pixels and at 60 frames per second. They don't actually support 1080 yet, but they're working on that. And, you know, who can blame them for like having some way to go on this thing? Because you are streaming a game. There's so much technology going behind. So they have done a phenomenal work so far, but they still have a bit to go. I mean, just imagine that. Imagine the software. So when I pressed W, when I WASD, I think Adam introduced me to that. You WASD, I WASD, WASD. Is a new verb like I moused, clicked. I clicked. Wait, clicked is a verb. Never mind. When you, when you move, it goes to the game servers. The game servers simulate you moving, send it back to you, and all happens practically in real time. It's great. Yeah. So it doesn't have. You need a good internet connection. Firstly, then it doesn't support 1080p yet, which on my laptop, which doesn't have a phenomenally big screen, isn't so bad. But when you're playing on like a 40-inch TV, you probably start seeing like a YouTube pixelation thing going on there. Another thing is the question: what happens if the service goes down? Are you genuinely stuck? Could this really be the future of video gaming, when people might not have an internet connection, or the service might go down? I mean, we saw what happened when the PlayStation Network went down. People still managed to play, but you couldn't play online. Well, imagine that, but you can't play anything. It's not like single player or multiplayer. It's like, oh, and it does support multiplayer games, by the way. That's cool. You can't play anything, but if the service goes down, it's a con. Also, another thing that you see is that they do have a limited number of games. I mean, it's got like 100 titles so far, and I bet they're adding more. But you don't see any of the real big hitters, like any of the Call of Duty series or the Battlefield series. You don't see them on there, which makes you think, are they like going to ever support that? Because you can imagine the attention they will get if people could play COD on that and all that. But you can also imagine how much it would overload the servers. So are they ever going to support the big games, or is it going to be relegated to the very popular but not insanely hyper popular games? Oh, and the other thing is game support. They support games, they say, for at least 3 years after they've released, and for as long as people play them. But that does in theory mean that if they support a game for 3 years, and at the end of that 3 years you're still playing, but basically everyone else has left the game and moved on, they could stop supporting your game and you won't be able to play it anymore. Which is a bit of a sad thought, but that's what happens with this service. So there you have it. The pros, the cons, weigh it up for yourself. But my opinion on this, get it, buy a game for £1. I mean, I bought Deus Ex, but they have Fear 3, they have Homefront, they have some of the what's the new Batman game? They basically just go take a look. They got over 100 games, and you can get any of them for £1. I mean, how many times would you go into a game store and say, oh hey, yeah, I want to buy a game. How much is like this game over here? £1. And this one? Oh, that's £1 too. And that one at £1. Are they all £1? Yep, they're all £1. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? Which one do I want? Yeah, I'll choose in between Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or Deus Ex, because I chose Deus Ex and I haven't regretted it. It's great fun. Anyway, people, this wraps up this Tech Corner. I hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe some of it will be useful to you. Leave a comment below if you like this. Make sure you do the thumbs up thing, and see you next week.